Hello, everybody. I think you'll be happy to know that Miss A did not find my joke very funny today. She just shook her head and walked away. We're going to be working on solving linear equations, which you should have done some of this on L.1 already. So what we're really trying to do is, instead of just finding a value for x that makes it true, is can we have a step or a system of steps or procedures that help us find the answer if we can't guess what x should be. So for this problem, what we want to do is I like to draw a line down the equal sign just to remind myself that what I'm trying to do is end the problem with x is equal to something, some value of x. So my goal is to get x by itself or to have 1x at the end of the problem. So when I look at this side of the equation, I think, what is the farthest value that's away from x when I start, but still on the same side of the equal sign? Well, the 3 and the x, they're being multiplied together. They're very close. This positive 4 over here is the farthest value away from x that is still on the left side of the equal sign. So my goal is to move that value from the left side of the equal sign to the right. So if you've worked with algebra tiles before, we know the best way to do that is to add -4 to both sides of the equal sign. And what ends up happening is this becomes a 0, and this number on the right becomes a positive 9. So if this value is 0, then the only thing we care about left on the only thing we care about on the left side of the equal sign is 3x, which is now 3x is equal to 9. So this equation is still equivalent to the original equation we started with. So now we ask ourselves the same question. What value do we want to change, or what value do we want to get rid of? Well, we want to end with 1x, and we currently have 3x. So the best way to change 3x into 1x is to divide by positive 3. If I divide by positive 3, these values turn into 1x, or just x. 9 divided by 3 changes into a positive 3. So that means that the answer to our equation is 1x is equal to 3, or just x is equal to 3. Now, the most important thing on these problems is to check your answer. The reason why I like linear equations is because it's easy to know at the end of a quiz or a test exactly how many problems you got right or wrong. In this situation, all I have to do is take this value of x and put it back into the original equation. I will know exactly if my problem was right or wrong right away. So let's try that. So let's do 3 times 3 plus 4 is equal to 13. And the question is this true? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 4 is equal to 13, which means that this is true. That means my value of x has to be correct. And so this problem, the answer is x is equal to 3. So let's try one more example. 2x minus 3 is equal to -9. So it's the same idea as before. Our goal is still to get x by itself, or to create 1x. Well, the number that's the farthest away from x on the left side of the equal sign in this case is -3. -3, the best way to get rid of that is to add positive 3 to both sides of the equation. -3 plus positive 3, that's 0. And so we're left with 2x on the left side of the equal sign, and on the right side we are left with -6. Now we go back to as if this is the original problem. What is the best way to get x by itself, or to create 1x? I think we should be dividing by a positive 2. If we divide both sides of the equation by positive 2, the left side of the equation is left with 1x, which is what we wanted. The right side of the equation is left with -3. So you can write this as 1x is equal to -3, or x is equal to -3. These are the same thing. And now we need to check our answer to make sure we were correct. So we take this We plug it back into the original problem. 2 times negative 3 minus 3 is equal to negative 9. So is this true? I would do 2 times negative 3, and I would get negative 6. Negative 6 minus 3 is equal to negative 9. So our answer is correct. All right, so let's go a little bit faster with these problems, but it's the same idea. The one on the left we'll start with. I want to get a by itself. So this number is a positive 4 in the front. It's as if you can block this value off. The opposite of positive 4 is negative 4. So I am left with negative 2a on the left side of the equal sign, and on the right side I'm left with negative 4. From this point, the best thing here is to divide by a negative 2, because I need a to be by itself, or 1a. So if I divided this by a positive 2, I would create negative 1a, but I want positive 1. So I divide by negative 2 on both sides of the equation, and I end up creating negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2. So let's plug it back into the equation and check. So I do 4 minus 2 times 2, and that is equal to 0, because 4 minus 4 is equal to 0, so check mark. Okay? Let's try the one on the right. This time I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I create 3w is equal to negative 5. Well, the problem here is we're going to be creating a decimal answer, but that's just fine. Decimals and fractions are not a problem at all. We've worked with them a lot. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides of the equation. So I create w is equal to negative 5/3. Well, that's the same thing as negative 1 2/3. But I prefer the improper fraction. So then I plug it back into the original equation. I know you might be panicking a little bit here, but it's not a big deal. We've done this before, just not with linear equations. So we get negative 5 plus 3 parentheses negative 5 over 3 is equal to negative 10. I'm laughing because Miss A is nodding her head feverishly as if she is freaked out by the fractions. It's not a big deal. We've done it before. So we'll work with the fraction first. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Negative 15 divided by 3, that's just negative 5. So we end up getting negative 5 plus a negative 5 is equal to negative 10. And look, that's still true. Our answer was still correct. So a fraction or a decimal, they're just fine. They don't really change our problem that much. Okay? So I want you to try these two on your own and see if you get the right answer. All right, so I'm going to go through these problems a little quick. As always, if you have questions when I'm done, make sure you bring them up to me and we can work through them together. So my first step is I'm going to add 7 to both sides. And I create 6x is equal to 18. Now I want to divide both sides by 6. So I create x is equal to 3. I check my answer by going negative 7 plus 6 times 3 is equal to 11. Negative 7 plus 18 is equal to 11. And that is true. The problem on the right is a little bit tougher, but not a ton. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I get negative 2x is equal to 20. From here, I want to remember to divide by a negative 2 on both sides. So I get x, oops, is equal to negative 10. So now to plug it back into the original equation, negative 2 times negative 10 minus 5 is equal to 15. Well, I need to remember to do multiplication first. So I get 20 minus 5 is equal to 15. That is true. So we are done. There are notes posted on the website. It's like 6 or 7 examples. Make sure you ask questions if you need them.
Bye.